Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Signal TV Channels 8 or on 250 for high definition. You can also watch us via facebook.com/OneNewsPH and on YouTube, One News PH. And if you have the Signal Play app, you can watch us on the go. And thank you to PLDT for supporting us, for giving us the facility to broadcast live from Lipa City, Batangas. Bumalik muna po tayo sa Lipa matapos mabakunahan sa Pasig kasi dito na lang po kami nagtatago at medyo malala pa rin yung mga cases ng COVID dyan sa Metro Manila and things while they are getting better, it is far from ideal. In any case, May 11, 2021, Tuesday. Today, we will be going all over the place. We will start today's interview with Councilor and Health and Tourism Committee Chairperson of the town pa rin, Coron, Palawan, Rica, Reyes, kasi mukhang para sa inyong mga favorite ang Coron as a tourism destination. Looks like it's going to take a while before we can all visit lovely Coron because mukhang mag-ECQ daw sila. So alamin natin yan. Excuse me. Medyo tayo po ay nagsasuffer ng konting side effect. I don't know if it was the pollution. I don't know if it was the hot and cold of Metro Manila. You know, it was steaming hot in Metro Manila. And then mag-aircon ka kasi hindi mo matiis sa gabi. So kami ng misis ko parehong inubo, sinipon. Pero hindi rin namin alam. We don't know if it's a side effect of the vaccine. It's hard to tell. In any case, after our interview with Rica Reyes, we will interview Undersecretary Epimaco Jun Densing III of the DILG para makakuha tayo ng update dun sa instructions si President Rodrigo Duterte na to go tough on barangay captains and LGU officials who are not strictly enforcing the health protocols in their locality, especially after what happened dyan sa gubat sa syudad in Caloocan. Medyo debatable po yung pangyayari doon kasi we'll go into that later. And after, we'll also speak with Yusek Densing kasi there have been several foreigners, permanent residents in the Philippines who have reached out and asked, Cito, bakit ganon? Why is it that when we apply as senior citizen, we are rejected? When we apply for vaccination, the local governments don't know what to say, what to do, or say they're not giving us vaccination, when in fact some of those vaccines are donated by their countries to the COVAX facility, COVAX ba or something, facility, pera ng gobyerno nila, pero pagdating dito sa Pilipinas kung saan na sila naninirahan, where they are residing, they cannot even get one dose of that vaccine. So, in fairness to the city of Pasig, kami po nabakunahan, yung wife ko nabakunahan kasi no question sa Pasig ang policy ni Mayor Vico Soto, bakunahan lahat kasi isa lang ang makalusot dyan, maghahawahan. Okay, so thank you Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto. And after Epimaco Densing, we will go to Professor Guido David, Octa Research, kasi everyone is talking about how things are improving in Metro Manila, etc. Pero baka nakakaligtaan natin na Metro Manila is not the Philippines. There are other places outside of Metro Manila, to begin with the 4 provinces surrounding Metro Manila. What's happening with them? Yung plus ng NCR plus, and of course, the other regions in the Philippines. Excuse me again. In the meantime, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. There you go, Metro mayors eyeing GCQ with restrictions. Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA Chairman Benhar Abalos says mayors in NCR might consider shifting to the more lenient GCQ or General Community Quarantine. But, Abalos clarifies, some restrictions might still continue. Siyempre, malamang at malamang dyan ay yung curfew, malamang at malamang, yung restriction, yung age restriction, etc. Okay, this as Malacanang has also said that shifting NCR Plus to GCQ after May 14 is possible. Let's discuss more of the matter with Professor Guido David of Octa Research later in the program. Next, 193,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines from the COVAX facility has arrived in the country last night. The shots will be distributed in Metro Manila, Davao, and Cebu. The health department explains this is because Pfizer vaccines have high technical requirements for storage. So it will be given to LGUs with capacity to meet these requirements. In other words, lumalabas o ina-assume ng DOH at ng mga National Task Force or whoever's in charge of that na the metro areas lang ang merong fasilidad para sa deep cold storage kasi minus 70 degrees ba yung kailangan ng Pfizer. Meron lang pong may mga pinag-uusapan tungkol sa handling. Okay. And in his speech last night, President Rodrigo Duterte said that his jet ski remark back in 2016 was only a campaign joke. But the president insisted he was not taking the issue of the Philippine sovereignty lightly when he made the comment. Okay, in other words, hindi pa tinatantanan, ayaw pa rin tigilan ng kinaukulan. Kasi alam nyo po, ang dami nang nagsabi, tigilan nyo na yung kabalbalan na yan, yung debate, yung angasan ninyo, yung pagtatalo ninyo kasi mas maraming problema ang Pilipinas at mga Pilipino. Wala na kaming pakialam sa argumento ninyong yan kasi marami po nagugutom, nagkakasakit, at naghihirap. At let's just pray that the lying spirits, let's just pray that the lying bodies, let's just pray that the vendors of discord, yung mga gawagulo ba, yung mga bulong, ang bulong rumble, masupalpal, ma-expose at mapahiya ni Lord. Okay? Wala po tayong kinakampihan dito sa bagay na ito, but enough is enough. Nakakapagod na po. Anyway, let's go to the more serious concerns. Alam nyo, honestly, I just 2 weeks ago, sabi ko, parang ang sarap pumunta sa Coron, lalo na yung kaibigan ko, Sunny De Leon, ng Epic Cafe. Mukhang nagpalit na ng nationality, hindi na siya Metro Manilan, parang Coronian na siya, dahil tiga Coron na, hindi na siya bumalik from Coron. But unfortunately, word is, according to our team member here in Team Agenda, Jen Barona, magkakaroon daw ng ECQ sa Coron. Alamin natin yan. But before we go there, kami po ay bumabati ng maligayang kaarawan sa napaka-importanting member ng aming Team Agenda, si Dijo. Siya po ang ating tawag natin dito. Siya po yung ating guest coordinator at siya po ang ay laging nakikipaghabulan, nakikipagkulitan para makakuha ng bisita ang programa. Medyo talagang mahalaga siya sa atin And we just wish you a very happy birthday, Dijo. At ang aking dasal ay sana naman, for the first time in all the years I've known you, wag mo kong hold upin sa birthday mo. Okay? Now, let's go to the Councilor Chairperson of the Health and Tourism Committee of Coron Town in Palawan, anak ng kaibigan ko, Rica Reyes Gao. Good morning,
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Hindi ko akalaing meron na palang malaking anak yung kaibigan ko. Pasensya ka na, Rica, kasi alam mo, parang never tumanda yung tatay mo. Lagi,
Yes, totoo yan.
kanya hirap isipin na meron siyang grown-up daughter. Okay, Rica, I was honestly 2 weeks ago I was dreaming of, sabi ko punta na kaya kami ng Coron, total nasa Batangas naman kami, patagal na kami sa Batangas, GCQ dito, baka makalipat na kami ng Coron. Biglang sinabi sa gabi, sir, cancel yung balak mo, mag-ECQ. Paano nangyari? Rica, please explain to us what happened.
Actually, for a very long time, we're enjoying ng walang COVID dito or may pasulpot-sulpot na onte. Nagkaroon kami ng bout sa COVID last year pa during the first salvo. Pero apparently during the weekend, biglang lumobo ang COVID namin. So there are 11 confirmed cases of COVID here. However, meron kaming 37 na probable, which is ito yung mga antigen na positive na waiting for confirmatory test sa RT-PCR. So that's 11 na RT-PCR positive and 37 na probable. We still have 101 suspected cases na mga primary contacts ng lahat ng ating mga nagpositibo sa antigen at sa RT-PCR.
Okay,
Kung tatanungin ako saan nanggaling ang
yeah.
Kung tatanungin ako kung saan nanggaling ang kaso namin, I guess hard to say. So laging sinasabi ng mayor namin dito, no more blaming, just helping. So this is what we have and we do the best that we can para masugpo ulit to like what we did last year.
Well, I like that philosophy of Mayor Marjo na wala nang sisihan. Ayusin na lang natin ang problema because at the end of the day, yun lang naman ang pinaka-importante na hindi na kumalat itong hawahan na ito. Pero ang tanong, Rica, kasi ang liit naman ng Coron. I mean, I spent 7 years in that area. Medyo parang andaling kontrolin yan o lumawak na ba talaga ang Coron in the 7 years that, in more than, ako hindi lang pala 7 years, 25 years na yata ako hindi nakatungtong ng Coron. Gano'n nakalaki ang Coron?
Yung Coron is composed of 23 barangays. Marami dito island barangays, Pero yung hotspot namin for COVID is just here in Bayan. Plus yung mga karatig na barangay sa Bayan. Ang nagiging problema lang namin is island ang Coron. So marami ritong mga nakakapasok. Kahit na gano'n natin paigtingin ang pagbabantay, maraming mga nakakapasok galing sa ibang lugar na nakakapagdala ng sakit or COVID dito sa aming bayan.
Nililiwanag ko lang po, ang ini-interview ko ay si Councilor Rica Reyes Gao, hindi po si Marian, baka sabihin ninyo, artista yung ini-interview ko. Ngayon, hindi si Marian Rivera po ito, si Rica Reyes Gao po ito. Rica, sandali, maniniguro lang ako, kamusta yung mayor natin? Kasi normally siya ang na-interview ko, siya ba COVID-free naman?
Yes, COVID-free naman. Nung nakaraan, nagkaroon din ng COVID scare ang ating mayor, na quarantine din po siya, kagaya ng marami pong tao dito sa munisipyo din. However, naging free naman po ang lahat ng taga-munisipyo ng ating mayor after po ng testing.
Okay, when you say you're going to declare ECQ, paano ba yung declaration na yan? Limited period of 2 weeks, 3 weeks as per DOH, o hanggang malipon talaga lahat ng kaso dyan?
We will be declaring ECQ starting Wednesday, 10 p.m. para mabigyan po lahat ng mga tao ng time to prepare. Ito po ay magtatagal ng 14 days. However, on the 7th day, magre-reconvene po ang local IATF para aralin po kung magkakaroon pa ng onting pagbabago ng pagluluwag sa mga dineclare po na protocols or kung mas pagtitibayan pa po ito at magsistrikto pa po. Depende po lahat sa magiging statistics after po ng 7 days.
Okay.
As
Go ahead, Rica.
as much as sa atin po, no, parang madaling sabihin sa atin na 14 days to heal. Pero siyempre, marami pong tao ang kawawa pagka tayo po ay nag-declare po ng pagsistrikto dahil po ang kabuhayan po nila ay direktong apektado.
Yeah, paano na nga yun? Kasi you are an island town or island municipality and alam ko na malaking bahagi ng supply and economy of Coron is with its relationships with other towns and with Metro Manila, province of Batangas, etc. Pag nag-ECQ ba kayo, sorry, walang pwedeng dumaong, walang pwede mo nang bumisita, stay home muna lahat.
Lahat po ng essential products, including po dito ang food, syempre ay unhampered po ito. So pwede pa rin pong pumunta dito, pero meron lang po protocols na hinain ng ating local IATF na implement po ng ating EOC para po mapaigting at pagtibayan po yung kaligtasan ng ating bayan.
Okay,
Para makabalik na po kayo dito soon.
Ay sana. Paano naman yung what is the situation in terms of health facilities, quarantine and isolation facilities? Does Coron have sufficient structures for that?
Actually, tama po kayo, maliit po yung Coron, hindi po kami gaya ng Metro Manila. Pero kahit papano, very happy po ako and I'm thankful na nagtutulungan po lahat ng kababayan namin dito. For quarantine facilities, we are using some of the hotels. Mm-hmm. For isolation facility, may designated isolation facility po kami. Kaya kung maririnig po siguro ng Metro Manila, parang ang baba pa ng cases namin. 37 probable and 11 confirmed pero ECQ na agad. Kasi po pinoprotektahan din po namin yung healthcare system po namin na hindi po siya ma-stress out para in case may mag-critical, makafocus po sila ng maigi at maligtas po yung buhay ng kababayan po namin.
Alam mo, Rica, as I watched that video, I think that's a video of Coron, napapagod ako eh. Kasi natatandaan ko nung huli akong nandiyan dyan, sumakay ka ng jeep, galing sa airport, sumakay ka ng jeep, pagbaba mo, yun na yung Coron na yun, wala ka nang lalakaran. Hindi ka lalampas ng 500 meters, yun yung bayan. Parang ngayon, parang puro building na dyan ngayon eh. What about yung hospital, Rica? Kasi when I last went to the hospital, community work pa kami sa hospital, tumulong kami, nagpa-screen kami, puro plywood at ang kwarto yata nun ay pipito, kung di ako nagkakamali. Ano na ba ang hospital ngayon ng Coron?
Ang aming pong ospital ay meron na pong onting improvements. Hindi pa rin po ito yung ideal na iisipin natin na kumpletong ospital na may kumpletong serbisyo. Pero marami na pong improvements din na nangyari. Ang plywood po ay naging semento na. Na-improve po ng building namin ng onte, tulong po ng Provincial Government of Palawan. However, marami pa rin po talagang kailangan ayusin at baguhin sa serbisyo ng ating ospital. Slowly siguro in time, magagawa rin po ito. Ang aming po referral hospital ay sa Culyon, which is DOH po ang nag-manage.
Okay, so tatawid ka pa ng dagat para makapunta
Yes.
sa hospital. Aray ko naman, sakit sa katawan. Maliban dyan sa 30, ilan kamong kaso na yan, tsaka yung mga suspected cases, paano ba ginawa? Kinwarantin na ba silang lahat?
Yes po, naka-isolate na po sila lahat. Even the primary contacts po ay naka-isolate na rin po. Lahat po ng secondary contacts ay naka-quarantine naman din po sila ngayon para mas mabilis po ang contact tracing kasi konti lang din po ang manpower ng ating contact tracers. Mas maigi po na mas mabilis tsaka magtulungan na lang po kung ano po yung magagawa para matigil po agad to lahat.
Okay, wala naman kayong pangamba na lalala ito kasi alam mo Rica, ang pinoproblema ngayon itong mga iba-ibang variants at saka yung gaano kabilis yung pagsama ng pakiramdam ng pasyente, no? Diyan sa mga na intercept ninyo na papasok, meron bang kumbaga clinically distressed na o puro lang nag-test kasi sila sa RT-PCR?
Meron po tayong isa na nasa ospital po ng Coron ngayon. Doon po siya nagpapagaling dahil medyo ang simptomas po niya ay hindi po yung average na simptomas na nararamdaman po ng may COVID. So we hope and we pray na maging okay po itong ating pasyente na to. Tiwala naman po tayo sa Coron. Marami na rin po silang napagaling sa COVID. Sa totoo lang, napakahirap din po sa aming bayan, maliit lang kami. Pero tulungan na lang po at tiwala na malulutasan po ito and hope na I don't know, someday gigising na lang tayo ng hindi na natin kailangan mag-face mask or mag-face shield, pwede na ulit mag-shake hands, maging okay na po ang lahat.
Okay, now kamusta? Last question ko na lang, Rica, regarding yung mga documentary requirements entering Coron. Kasi 2020 December ba yun, medyo nagluwag tayong lahat. And ngayon, biglang may mga photo ka na variant. Paano na yung re-entry sa Coron? Kung kunyari, katulad namin, gusto naming dalawin ko yung tatay mo at kami magkita-kita dyan, maghihigpit ba ulit ang Coron?
Currently po, during the ECQ, bawal po muna ang incoming na pasahero, most especially for leisure, except po yung mga essentials at meron pong mandato ng gobyerno na pumunta dito. However, siguro after po ng ECQ ay magkakaroon ulit ng meeting ang local IATF. Magre-reconvene, titignan kung kaya na po namin ba tumanggap ng turista or ng APOR or ng iba pa po mga nais pupunta rito sa aming bayan. Hard to say right now. I wish and pray na magkaroon na ulit ng turista dahil ang dami na rin po talagang nahihirapan dito at namimiss na rin po namin ng mga turista dito sa aming bayan.
At apektado rin ang kabuhayan ng maraming tiga-Coron.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we are praying for better times, safer times, and thank you for joining us this morning. At least makita ng tao na may mga competent individuals, may mga bata na humahawak ngayon ng mga ganitong bagay. Pakikamusta na lang kami kay Mayor at sa mga tiga-Coron. Maraming salamat, Councilor Rica.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. That's Councilor Rica Reyes Gao, Chairperson of the Health and Tourism Committees of Coron, Palawan. And ayan po, no, medyo nakakalungkot na kahit na isla na po, the Coron town is an island municipality, and yet, you know, that doesn't spare them or keep them from getting coronavirus cases, COVID cases on the island. And medyo ayun po, mabuti na lang mabilis silang gumalaw kasi nakakatakot po talaga itong sitwasyon na ito all over the Philippines. Alam niyo, we will go for a break, and when we come back, pag-usapan natin yung bagay niyan kasi meron nga pong pumutok na balita, yung bang gubat sa syudad, dyan sa Caloocan, mahigit 100 daw, over 100 individuals went swimming one morning or one on lunchtime, one afternoon. And, you know, it's like India, you know, India had, well, in India, it was hundreds of thousands going to the river for a religious ceremony. And boom, what happened? You have an outbreak. Okay, we will go for a quick break here on Agenda. When we return, let's speak with Undersecretary Epimaco Densing III of the Department of Interior and Local Government. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. You are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 and 250 for high definition, as well as on facebook.com/OneNewsPH, and on YouTube, just enter OneNewsPH. And of course, once again, thank you for the assistance of PLDT as we broadcast live from Batangas, Lipa, Batangas. Lipa City, Batangas. Okay, we have next up Undersecretary Epimaco Junden Singh III of DILG. Yusek, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Cito, and to the followers of your program. Good morning.
Okay, ipa-front load ko na lang muna yung mga sumusulat sa akin na mga foreigners, mga permanent resident, married to Filipinas or Filipinos. Apparently, there is still confusion regarding vaccination and registry for permanent residents or foreigners living and doing business in the Philippines unable to get out or return to their home country for vaccination. And merong mga LGUs who actually give vaccines, and there are LGUs who deny vaccination. What is the position of the DILG on this matter, Yusek?
Well, Cito, it's more of an IATF thing, no? I believe that if they are residents of a specific local government unit, they can be vaccinated, no? Even if they are foreigners. So I do believe they should be getting those jobs. Maybe we should be getting which specific local government unit are denying them those jobs, and maybe we can work it out at our end.
Okay, pero can the DILG issue a memorandum or a notice to all of the LGUs? Kasi hindi lang po NCR ang pinag-uusapan natin. We're talking all over the Philippines. Actually, there are more expats or foreign permanent residents living in the provinces done in Metro Manila. And pasensya ka na, Yusek, I gave my word several times to work on this. And this has been an ongoing concern for about 3 months na, parang wala pa rin daw clarity. Can the DILG take action on this?
Yeah, I think we can. I sit as vice chair of the National Vaccination Operations Center. So I'll open that as one of the topics, and hopefully we'll be issuing immediately an advisory to all local government units about the protocols of giving the vaccinations. Salamat for the feedback. Salamat for the feedback.
Yeah, kasi meron din mga issue regarding senior citizenship. Kasi we understand, the status of a senior citizen is given to a citizen of the Republic. Pero meron din tayong mga permanent resident na seniors na rin. And the senior category is vital to getting the vaccination. Pero some cities don't allow it, some towns allow it. Kasi like in Pasig, they allow it as long as hindi ka kokolekta ng economic package or subsidy, etc. Pero they allow, marehistro ka as a senior citizen kasi assistance to elderly yun.
Correct. Sige, it's a good thing we got that feedback. All these feedbacks will be taken into account, and hopefully within the week, we can make an advisory to all our local government units for purposes of giving them a common protocols in the vaccinations, at least for senior citizens and those foreign senior citizens.
Okay, well, that is much appreciated, Undersecretary Densing. And yan naman po lagi natin sinasabi. That's what we always say. If you take up the matter with the authorities, that there will always be action. Now, moving forward, Yusek Densing, this issue of the President telling LGUs, enforce the health protocols. I have written about that, and I said in my column, Mr. President, just ask the police, the PNP to do it because the barangay captains do not have an army. They live in the neighborhood. Baka biglang mawalan sila ng friendship sa barangay doing their job. Now, there seems to be an issue about, what about the mayors? Parang sobrang sobrang pressure sa barangay captain, too much responsibility on the barangay captain, and the mayors are just passing the buck.
And with regard to that, we've already issued, Secretary Anyu signed already Memorandum Circular 2021-050, no? And this is addressed to all local chief executives, including mayors, no? That they have to really enforce the minimum public health standards as guided by the omnibus guidelines on community quarantine. Tama ka, Cito, although we are not giving excuses for the barangay captains. Kaya sabi ni Presidente, and he was right, no? That the barangay captains cannot say na, I do not know that it's happening in our area, because sa barangay, it's so small that almost whatever is happening in your barangay, the information or the news goes immediately to the local officials. Kaya they cannot make themselves an excuse, no? However, sinabi na dun sa aming memorandum circular, pati ang mga mayors will now be liable, no? If ever minimum public health standards are not met, because minention na ho natin, the reelection of duty kasi yan eh. Since the local government units ay primarily the implementers of national protocols, health protocols, kailangan ipatupad talaga nila kasama yung barangay captain. So if they are not able to intentionally or not, no, pero hindi nila ginawa yung kanilang trabaho, then they will be liable for the dereliction of duty. So pwede ho sila makasuhan administratively. And tinitingnan din namin pati criminal side na pinag-aaralan namin sa DILG kung by criminal side ang dereliction of duty. Pero ang kapitan, sigurado na ako kasi meron na kaming mga court rulings dyan. Ang kapitan was held criminally liable.
Okay, how can we address this problem, Yusek? And then, oh, by the way, I'm sorry for calling you June. Ano? I know that your nickname is Epi. Sorry, I'm just
Okay,
getting
June or Epi, will do.
side effects of the vaccine. Biglang sinisi, no? And in any case, how can we resolve this problem? Kasi I go out, here to do essential trips to buy my medicine, to buy food, and I observe. And sabi ko, kawawa naman yung mga opisyal sa Lipa or even in Pasig, okay, where I live, because they don't have all the facilities para magpatrol, mag-monitor, etc. And yet they will be held responsible. Kasi sabi ko, if you have the mayor's office, you have the PNP, and you have the barangay captain, at least kumbaga multiplier effect, mas maraming iikot. How do you resolve this problem?
Well, that's the limitation of the service. No, we cannot be everywhere. That's why we are also dependent on citizens' report, and we are receiving a lot of reports, no, via social media. O minsan sa akin nagme-messenger just to tell me, tas may pictures. Then immediately we tell our city directors na papuntahan yung specific barangay. So pag pinapuntahan na, doon nagagalaw yung barangay. Again, that's the limitation to service. But we're trying our best, no? The liability per se is really if they are not or intentionally not doing their work. So in other words, yung barangay, kung hindi naman sila umiikot para mag-observe, then they might be liable for the dereliction of their duty. So importante, they're doing their best. It's very clear that nanguhuli sila dun sa mga nag-violators ng minimum public health protocols. At the same time, they're doing their job. Yung ating mga kapulisan din, kulang din ating pulis. But again, we're trying our best na they be present everywhere within their locality of responsibility, where they are responsible for peace and order.
Okay, now what about itong issue regarding public gatherings? Kasi mukhang hindi matigil-tigil sa there's so much focus in Metro Manila, especially with that gubat sa syudad controversy or violation. Pero maraming magsasabi sa atin na, Sir, isa lang yan. Umikot ka sa buong Pilipinas, puro karaoke, puro birthday party. Parang sinasabi, pwede naman basta GCQ or MGCQ, etc. Paano ba natin matitigil yung mga risky mass gathering na ganyan?
I agree. Talaga nangyayari ngayon, and now is more prevalent than a few months ago prior to this surge, this March, no? But we were able to do it. I remember as early as October, November, December last year, yung puspusan naming public discourse and discussions about the so quote-unquote evils of mass gathering for to contain COVID-19. Nagawa naman po natin eh. Siguro it's just more on people are now confident kasi meron na ngang bakuna. I think we observed that in February when we were starting to talk about the vaccine. People started to go out. People started to mass gather by groups of 5s or 10s, and I personally saw that. Nagkaroon ng too much overconfidence on the entry of vaccine. In fact, Cito, if I may tell you, yung vaccine confidence natin tumataas, no? Especially if nagkakaroon ng briefing. In one briefing I had, town hall meeting with senior citizens and PWDs. At the end of the session, ang nagpabakuna from we started at 50%, naging 86% after we've explained the benefits of the vaccine. So again, kailangan lang namin ulitin siguro yung pagpapahayag sa publiko of the evils of mass gathering that it may spread out the COVID-19. So paulit-ulit lang namin itong gagawin at ginagawa na ho namin ito together with the Department of Health.
But Yusek, what about yung sampulan? Kasi people have commented also, no, and I share the sentiment myself. You know, it's good to remind our mayors, it's good to pressure our barangay captains, it's great to send out the PNP, the police, to patrol the streets, but we have not really seen a number of people na kumbaga nasampulan. Kasi marami rin tayong marami rin tayong kababayan na napipikon who are annoyed that we are sacrificing, we are law abiding, and these individuals simply don't give a damn. They do their karaoke.
Yes, I think yung sample nangyayari na yan. Yung pagsasample nangyayari na, no? For the week of May 6 to May 10, based on our statistics, meron na ho tayong 904 na katao na inaresto talaga, no? Because they violated the minimum public health protocols, yung social distancing. Some even really did not wear their face mask and face shield, no? So talaga inaresto na. Sa statistics natin is around 904. Yung iba, they were fined, and some of them were arrested but later on released. If I'm not mistaken, meron na in statistics na kasi kinukuha yung numero on the ground. There are around 5,000 na sinita na ng improper wearing of face mask. So medyo active na po yung ating enforcers, the policemen, and even the barangay level. We're putting the numbers together, and I think the 904 is more than enough a sample for violators of minimum public health protocols. And more importantly, itong syudad, sa gubat sa syudad, yung kapitan po dyan, Cito, has been arrested for violating, for dereliction of duty. And I think around 200 of them identified na pumasok, hinahanap po yung karamihan doon kasi sila po iimbestigahan at kung talagang nag-violate sila ng batas, and specifically mentioning Republic Act 11332, they will be, five cases will be filed against them, and we will let the courts decide what kind of punishment or imprisonment which will be put against them.
Apparently, some individuals even attacked or manhandled a cameraman of a media outlet. Medyo, it shows us na marami talagang, kumbaga, hindi lang pasaway, mayabang pa.
Parang sa inyo yata yan, Cito.
Hindi na ako nagsasabi, no? Pero sana.
But I encourage him to file a case kasi para pabigyan naman ng leksyon yung taong nanggipit sa kanya.
And let's not make it a personal issue. It is a public concern that when it is bad enough you violate the rules, it gets worse when you attack someone else doing his job. In any case, Yusek, any other announcement? First, allow me to say thank you dun sa tutulong mo doon sa mga expats. And thank you that we are seeing action regarding this thing. Anything else happening?
Well, just to mention, yung ayuda natin will be giving out of financial assistance will end May 15. As of yesterday, we've already distributed of the 22.9 billion to be distributed to 22.9 million Filipinos in the NCR Plus bubble. We've already distributed close to 84% as of yesterday. So more or less, yung mga meron ng around 19.1 million of our Filipinos have received their financial assistance. Hopefully, they will be able to meet the deadline of the 15th. Meron ng around 20 plus na mga LGUs na 100% na po yung distribution. So, it's a good thing that is happening right now. Medyo mas bibigat ito when Bayanihan 3 is passed into law because there will be additional ayuda for our fellow Filipinos na apektado nitong COVID-19 lockdown.
Okay. Well, thank you for that added information. And merong comment dito, yung mga pulis daw nakatambay lang sa loob ng kotse, sa mga gasolinahan at sa harapan ng mga bangko, etc. etc.
Ako,
Okay,
dito po
so
yan.
yun na lang po, no? Medyo pamonitor nyo na lang yan, Yusek. In any case,
We
thank
thank
you.
the public for the feedback.
Okay, thank you for for all that you shared this morning, and trabaho lang tayo. Let's support each other, and let's do what we can do to improve the lives of others. Thank you very much, Yusek Densing.
Salamat din, Cito, and thank you for all the feedback, and definitely we will discuss this immediately. Thank you.
Okay. Yan po, si Undersecretary Epimaco, Epi Densing III, Department of Interior and Local Government. So for all our expat foreign viewers, and for their wives or husbands, just please share that information. And if you could, try to reach Undersecretary Densing in the DILG website so that he could also know. Kasi hindi naman po lahat. We don't get all of the stories or the reports. But if you are an expat, a foreigner, a permanent resident in the Philippines, and you are not getting access to the vaccine, denied listing as a senior person and vaccination, write to them, and thank you, because Epidancing will also address that in the meetings that he will be having. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, let's go to our regular Professor Guido David of the Octa Research Group. Let's find out what's the situation like. GCQ ba? MGCQ pa rin? Etc. etc. here on Agenda. Okay, we're back here on Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 and 250, facebook.com/OneNewsPH, as well as on YouTube. Okay, let's go to our next guest, and let's find out what the situation is like in terms of COVID cases, in terms of the stats that are coming up. Akala mo PBA, NBA, ano? Pero ito po yung malagim na statistics. Let's find out from Professor Guido David of the UP Octa Research Group.
Hi, good morning, Cito.
Good morning, Prof. And could you start up with an update? Where are we as far as the effects of this MECQ on our COVID cases, and does it look like we're going to GCQ?
Well, Sita, yeah, we had a long ECQ and MECQ, pero we did no, make significant gains. Right now sa NCR, we're averaging less than 2,000 cases per day. It's around 1,900 cases per day right now on average. And what we're seeing is this is a 65% decrease compared to the previous to the peak of the surge. So malaki na yung binaba ng cases natin, and it's 35% lower compared to last week. Yung positivity rate natin nasa 13% as of the previous week. This is about much less than yung peak natin, nasa 25%, so halos nangalahati na yung positivity rate. And the reproduction number is 0.65. So stable naman yung trend sa NCR. So also yung hospital bed and ICU utilization bumaba na rin. It's below 70%. So the numbers look promising, and syempre there will always be risk when we decide to ease restrictions. But I think we can take risks here. So what I'm saying is we don't necessarily, hindi naman kaming, the decision to move to quarantine levels. It's a decision for the national government because it's a balancing act. But I think na we would actually support either if the government decides to retain MECQ or kung mag-shift to GCQ, we would support both of these.
Yeah, but Professor, here's my concern, and I'm looking at this as a non-statistician, non-mathematical genius. Okay, but the presumption is the longer it takes, the better it gets. So, would another week, would another 2 weeks, essentially bring us to a situation that is even better, or mag-neutral ba? May magpla-plateau ba at a given point?
Sa nakikita natin Sito, yung downward trend, it's still continuing. So hindi pa naman natin nakikita magpa-plateau siya. So yes, I mean it's always siguro better to wait one more week or another week or 2 more weeks. Pero syempre, we can't wait forever. We can't be in lockdown, in a strict lockdown forever. So, of course, if you ask the doctors in our group sa Octa Research, yung mga medical doctors namin, some of them would prefer that we extend the quarantine, the MECQ, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, as you mentioned. Pero what we're seeing is that the situation now has improved considerably. We are sort of out of trouble right now, because yung indicators natin are looking good. So we can maybe take a risk, pero we have to do it gradually. Siguro let's retain the bubble, because marami pa rin cases sa NCR bubble. Sa NCR we're still averaging 1,900 cases per day. And then if we do ease restrictions, kung yan yung decision ng national government, hopefully we do it gradually, gradual and calibrated exit strategy. Ayaw natin kasi mangyari is we ease restrictions pero magiging excited yung mga kababayan natin, dadami yung mga tulad ng sa resort na nakita natin sa Caloocan na lalo na summer pa naman and gusto ng mga tao siguro mag-swimming. We understand mainit, but at the same time syempre we want to preserve the gains that we made and yung public health natin. We want to maintain the public health aspect. Kaya we want to be careful din naman when we ease restrictions. Kasi the trend can still be reversed if we are not careful. Kaya importante pa rin for people to follow health guidelines, and for us, the national government to continue scaling up yung mga capacities natin for testing, especially contact tracing.
Yeah, but the situation is much different than before, Professor. We're talking about variants now. And I mean, compared to last year as to this year, recent spike, how much faster are today's variants in terms of reversing the trend. Kasi yun yung issue eh. Baka mamaya you take the risk or the government takes the risk of opening the economy, lifting restrictions. Eh, ang kaaway mo, hindi na katulad last year na medyo mabagal. Ngayon, talagang deadly yung kalaban, super bilis gumalaw.
Those are good points, Sita. And to be honest, we don't know how fast they could reverse the trend. Or, ang basically strategy natin last year from the surge in August, pagdating ng September, we were gradually easing restrictions. So we were finding the sweet spot na nag-i-ease tayo ng restrictions, but at the same time preventing an increase in cases. So, and we were able to do that from September to even to January or even to early February. Now we were easing restrictions. In fact, we were preparing to move to MGCQ na nga, the lowest or least strict quarantine status. Pero yun nga, that would be the challenge. How do we ease restrictions while at the same time preserving the downward trend? So that is a challenge in itself, and that's why siguro our recommendation is to do it very gradually. Na kasi syempre medyo common sense na if we open up everything too quickly, andyan talaga yung threat of a resurgence, especially since yung kumakalat ngayon are the variants. So, but if we like what we did 2 weeks ago, if we let's say add more capacity slightly, kunyari, we increase capacities from 10 to 20% or 10 to 30%, maybe this is gradual enough na hindi naman magkakaroon ng threat of surge. I mean, these are just examples. I don't have the exact data now.
Is there something missing in the menu of solutions? Because one thing I have not seen is a very strong public information campaign, a radical public information campaign that has not been mounted on the social media, mainstream media, etc. Would that make a difference, you think?
That would make a big difference dito kasi I think yung general public as a whole, ang perception nila is and that's the danger siguro when we move to GCQ. So the general public will see that as, oh, okay na, wala nang virus. We can go out, we can go to resorts, magkumpul-kumpul na. No? So we will see more of these yung resort events na nakita natin, more examples of these. We will see more of that when we move to a less strict quarantine. So that's a danger. So you're correct. Important yung public campaign, and it starts from you with the media, but also hindi lang naman burden yan ng media. It should be the national government, because I remember nung December, the media and the national government embarked on a public campaign to remind people to avoid social gatherings of more than 10 people, and to limit social gatherings and to limit yung time spent outdoors. And it worked kasi we were able to prevent a holiday surge. I think now that's equally important now because we still have the variants. Hindi naman, as you said, hindi naman joke itong mga variants na to, or we should not underestimate them. And that right now, the fact na the trends are looking good means we're able to manage it right now at this time. Pero there's danger now in the future we might not be able to manage it, especially ngayon nagsisimula pa lang talaga yung mag-accelerate yung vaccine rollout natin, which is important in our fight against the virus. So once we have more of these vaccines, mas magkakaroon na tayo ng confidence to accelerate economic recovery and reopening of businesses. And we hope to get these vaccines soon.
Yeah, Professor, what about, because I think there's just an overemphasis on NCR plus, but we're not covering, or there's very little being discussed regarding Bacolod, Negros, Calamba, Puerto Princesa, parts of Palawan. I just interviewed a counselor of Coron, and they have to undergo ECQ. Are we forgetting the provinces because we are so busy fighting COVID in the NCR? And will that, lead to us paying the price later? Kasi may mga nagsabi, if we don't control all, any straggler there will just reinfect all over.
Well, we're not forgetting them, Sita. In fact, nasa reports namin yan, we listed these as areas of concern. Cagayan de Oro, Puerto Princesa, where we haven't seen a surge in the last year. I mean, since the start of the pandemic, never namin na napunta sa radar namin yung Puerto Princesa, but now we're seeing a surge there, and also Bacolod is seeing a rise in cases. Zamboanga City also. So we're not forgetting them. Yung vaccine rollout, we mentioned now we should prioritize the NCR bubble, but we should also allocate to major metropolitan areas. So kasama dyan yung Cebu, because these metropolitan areas will always be under threat of a surge. Cebu, Davao, Zamboanga City, Bacolod, of course Calabarzon and Central Luzon. So it's very important. But right now, yes, we're monitoring these areas. Wala pa namang, like a really serious threat. So we're glad na they're addressing this early habang hindi pa ganun kataas yung cases nila. Cases are starting to rise, but they can still manage it right now at this level. So hindi pa naman siya umabot sa level, for example, ng Cebu, which we saw earlier this year.
Okay. Are you convinced regarding vaccines as a vital solution? Because there is something that my wife brought to my attention yesterday regarding this herd immunity concept. Kasi we need to vaccinate 70% of the population in order to achieve herd immunity. And she pointed out, how can you possibly achieve that if half of the Philippine population is below 25 and they cannot be vaccinated?
Well, those are valid points, Sito. In fact, we wrote a paper regarding that. Actually, yung numbers that we use right now is 75% of the population. Minimum pala ngayon eh. If we even account for efficacy, it could even go as high. In fact, in the U.S., their president wanted 100% of the population vaccinated. So hindi man yung herd immunity aspect, but like really protecting the entire population. And you're right. Well, sa NCR, based on our data, I think 30%, 28% are below are minors, mga 0 to 15, which I think we can't vaccinate yet. Pero I saw in the news na yung Pfizer is actually already
they're testing.
They're testing also for 12 to 15 years old. So some of these minors will already be will start to become eligible for vaccination. Maybe sometime maybe I don't know if later in this year or early next year. Pero right now, we're not specifically looking at 70% or 75%, but a more realistic percentage is mga 40 to 50%. We won't get herd immunity, but we will get this will be a significant effect, and we have seen this in fact in countries like Israel. So malaki na rin matutulong ng 40 to 50%. It's not herd immunity per se, pero we will still need to wear face masks kasi vaccinated people may still carry the virus.
But at least, yes. One quick question, Professor. What other industries would you support being opened? Because I won't say the name of the cabinet member, but he said, in the event that we stretch MECQ to June, we have to study what industries to open. And I'm like, that's a flag. What industries do you think can be opened?
Well, we'll have to assess that, Cito. I can't say that on the top of my head. But at least we can, siguro, yun nga, at the minimum, we could add capacities to certain establishments. For example, malls, we could increase capacity siguro. I'm generally medyo wary against dine-in, but as long as I believe they can improve ventilation sa mga restaurants, air circulation, that would go a long way towards not preventing transmissions. As a churches siguro, we could add more capacities.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that, Professor Guido David. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And as always, thank you for your services to the country. It is much appreciated. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, Cito. Good morning.
Okay, that's Professor Guido David of the UP Octa Research. And I'm Cito Beltran, your host here on Agenda, thanking you for joining us today. Please include us in your prayers, and may God bless you, bless this nation, and watch over our national leaders and give them divine wisdom. In Jesus' name. Have a nice day.